Right, welcome back. This is our part 2 video for the Tom Petty song Into the Great Wide Open. I'm Wu Shenfeng, Jason Grenier, English through Popular Culture. We've talked about vocabulary. I've introduced Tom Petty very briefly. Now we're going to go through the song verse by verse and think about this story. The reason I include this song in our course is because I think Tom Petty does an amazing job of telling a very interesting story in very few words. 4 verses and a chorus, and he tells this story that has a beginning, a middle, and you may say it has an end, but you may also say it doesn't have an end. You may say that the ending is wide open. We're going to go through this and talk about this, and I want you to think about this story as we go through. So the first verse, Eddie waited till he finished high school. He went to Hollywood, got a tattoo. He met a girl out there with a tattoo too. The future was wide open. So I want you to think about what's happening in the first verse. All right, ask questions like, why do you think Eddie went to Hollywood? Why do people go to Hollywood? What does that symbolize to you? Eddie goes to Hollywood and he gets a tattoo. Now, a lot of people have tattoos. They're very popular, and tattoos can mean different things for different people. But what do you think this means? Tom Petty puts this in here. Eddie waits till he finishes high school. He goes to Hollywood. He gets a tattoo. What is this tattoo symbolizing? What do you think? And then we hear this line, the future was wide open. And we know that means infinite possibilities, right? Anything could happen. So think about those questions. Eddie waited till he finished high school. Well, the idea is that he wanted to do something. The key word here, I think, is waiting, right? He has another song called The Waiting, and the chorus is, the waiting is the hardest part. Sometimes we want to do things, but the time has not come yet. We need to finish what we need to do. We need to wait until the conditions are right. But we have this picture of desire, right? We have Eddie. I'm going to try to type here. Can I type with all this stuff on my desk? It's kind of tricky doing this here this way. But what I see here is a picture of desire. Right? A young man who has a dream. All right? But a dream that has to be postponed, that has to wait. Right? Postponed means you need to push it off till later. But he's got this desire, obviously, to do something. Now he goes to Hollywood. I asked you to think about what that means. And I think a lot of people would tell me, if you were here live to answer me, Hollywood, people go to Hollywood to pursue fame, right? Find a career, maybe in the entertainment business. There's a lot of wannabe actors and actresses out there, wannabe pop stars, wannabe folk singers, whatever. This is chasing fame. Right? Going to Hollywood, following that dream when the time is finally right. Right? What else? The tattoo here. Now, the tattoo, like I said, it can mean a lot of things for a lot of people. Perhaps for him, the tattoo marks a change. Right? A new period in life, starting a new chapter. Leaving home, going out to a new place, chasing the dream. So maybe it means mark a change with the tattoo. Maybe it means something else. Be cool, right? A lot of people get a tattoo because they think it's cool. Ask people, why do you want a tattoo? They say, it's cool. So maybe he wants to be cool. Maybe this is a symbol of his identity as a rocker, right? He wants to go out there and be a musician. All right. I think this is what the tattoo is all about. It's important. It signifies a change, right? Whether it's just him wanting to be cool and fit in with the image of what he thinks it means to be a musician, or maybe it's the idea of marking a change, a new phase in life. We could put that here, new chapter. I think it's something like this, right? Now, I asked you to think about this next line. He meets a girl out there with a tattoo too. I think Tom Petty is so clever. I think he put this here because he just wanted to say tattoo too in a song, because we never say tattoo too in English. I've never heard it outside this song. If you don't believe me, that's fun. Say it out loud right now to yourself. Tattoo 2. Anyway, sounds cool, but I think there's a deeper meaning here. He meets a girl, okay, and she's got a tattoo too. So I think that symbolizes that he's found someone like him, okay? That she can relate to him, he can relate to her. We often talk about people who are kindred spirits. It means they think the same. They believe the same thing and they understand each other. We could call it like mutual, 互相的 understanding. Right? He's found a girl who can relate to him, he relates to. So I think that is everything that's going on. And that's a lot of information to pack into 4 sentences, right? The original, just he waited till he finished high school, goes to Hollywood, gets a tattoo, meets a girl with a tattoo too, and the future's wide open. Simple language, but telling a story. And I think this is the beginning of the story, right? He's gone to Hollywood. This is like the beginning of a quest, a search for something. And a lot of the stories that I like best start this way. There's some mission, some goal, some dream to chase, some desire to fulfill, and it's got to start somewhere, and it starts for Eddie as soon as he finishes high school. So this is the beginning of it all. Now let's look at the second verse here. They moved into a place they both could afford. He found a nightclub he could work at the door. She had a guitar, and she taught him some chords. The sky was the limit. So I want you to think now for a moment about what you think is happening in this second verse. We know that they're a couple now, right? They move into a place they both could afford. We know afford means they have enough money. What does that line suggest? They moved into a place they both could afford. Well, it means they need to think about money, okay? Because that means they need to consider their budget. So this, I think, is a way to telling us when they're starting out in their new career, we'd say money is tight, right? They don't have a lot of money. Like a lot of young people who have left home to chase a dream, money is going to be tight, right? You can't live in a luxury 5-star place. Of course not. You got to think, okay, what can we afford with our budget? So we get the sense that money for Eddie and his girlfriend is tight. He found a nightclub he could work at the door. Now we know he's gone out to Hollywood to chase a dream, but is working at the door of the nightclub a dream? I doubt it. I doubt it. This seems like, we talk about a day job, although this is a night job. A lot of musicians want to be professional musicians or actors, actresses, entertainers. It doesn't work out right away, and the money is slow to start coming in. So in the beginning, they have to work another job. They have to serve drinks in a bar, or work in a restaurant, waiting tables, or wash dishes, or something. We've all heard these stories, seen it in movies. So Eddie needs to work, right? They need to earn money to survive. Right? There's not a lot of money. We know money's tight. Now, what kind of job would he be doing at the door? Not performing, right? He wants to be a performer. We find out later, very soon actually, with his guitar and the teaching of the chords thing. But he's going to work at the door. So what do you think that means? Well, that means probably security, right? We call someone a bouncer, also called a doorman. All right, doorman in a hotel will just open the door for you and say, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am." A doorman at a club will tell you, "No, you're not dressed right," or "You're not on the guest list," or "You're drunk. Get out of here." These are the security people who work at the door, also called bouncers. Okay, security. So it looks like this kind of job. He could be a host or something, but I get the feeling it's probably this kind of job. If we say work the door of a club, if you told me that's what you did as your job, I'd say, okay, this is a doorman, a bouncer. All right? Now, she had a guitar and she taught him some chords. So this is the beginning of the music career. We see that the music career starts from nothing, basically. When you learn chords to play guitar, this is like the beginning. This is the first thing you do. Before you learn scales and fingerstyle and anything else, you learn chords. You learn what a C shape is, and a G, and a D, and an E, and you learn those things. Okay, so Eddie's music career, we see here, starts, we could say it starts from zero, basically. He knows nothing in the beginning, and his girlfriend teaches him. All right? So we see Eddie now chasing the dream, and he's with his girlfriend. They're chasing this dream together. The sky was the limit. It means there's, again, infinite possibilities. There's no limits on what could happen. Anything could happen. It's very exciting, all this possibility for young people chasing their dreams. But we're seeing here that it's not totally easy for them, right? You got to learn, you got to start somewhere, and you're starting from zero musically. Money is tight, so you got to earn money to survive. So this introduces the idea of struggle, right? At the beginning here, everything starts with a dream, with desire, right? Now we see down here that there's some struggle. We're kind of heading into the middle of the story, but we're still in the early stages here, and Eddie and his girlfriend are struggling just to survive, as people do when they chase their dreams, right? Not always easy to chase our dreams. So this is what it looks like to me. Money's tight, got to work to survive, right? And now we get to this amazing chorus. I can't wait till you hear it, these big, open, jangling chords when they play this song live. Into the great wide open, under them skies of blue, out in the great wide open, a rebel without a clue. Now, interesting here, under them skies of blue, which suggests they're above the skies. Usually we would say those, or the. But them is sort of a colloquial way, okay? But it could also mean that they're above the sky. I've thought about this a little bit, and it could mean under them are skies of blue, suggesting they're actually above the sky. And we could think about that and what that means, but this is the way it's written. I just think it means under those blue skies. The great wide open. Under those skies of blue, out in the great wide open, a rebel without a clue. What a great chorus. Again, it's so positive and bright. The idea of wide open spaces, right? Blue skies. Anything could happen. Possibilities, right? Now, this line here, a rebel without a clue, we're going to come back to that and think about this. Well, maybe we'll talk about it right now. This is a very clever pop culture reference. I'll ask you now, does anyone know what popular culture reference Tom Petty is making here? We know a rebel is someone who doesn't follow authority, someone who doesn't want to follow the rules, wants to do his or her or their own thing, right? We know without a clue means don't really know anything. You have no real idea, you're ignorant, you're not informed about something, you have no idea. So we have a rebel who wants to fight against things but has no idea what to fight about or what the situation is really like. Maybe suggesting that someone is naive, right? Naive means unknowing, to believe everything too easily. It could mean this, right? It could just mean that a lot of people who rebel don't really know what they're rebelling against. Maybe it's a statement not just about Eddie, but that many people who rebel don't really know what they're rebelling against. Could be that. Now, it is a pop culture reference, and I'll go over here and I'll show you. A rebel without a clue. Tom Petty coined this, but we have this. This harkens back to this. Rebel without a cause. 1955 film starring the one and only James Dean. Okay, this was one of them, probably the movie that put James Dean on the map. He was a huge Hollywood star in the 1950s, and he always played this rebellious character. You know, hair kind of slicked back. This style, you can see from his body language, a rebel, tough guy, not following the rules, can't tell him what to do, drives fast, lives dangerously, not afraid of a fight, smokes cigarettes, this type of guy. So this is a very, very well-known pop culture reference. And sometimes people are called a rebel without a cause. They're just against everything, against the system, but don't really know what they're talking about. They just don't want to conform. So this is sort of the play on words here. This is a really well-known cultural landmark, a cultural reference, a movie from the 1950s with James Dean, of course. So Tom Petty appropriated this title, borrowed it, but changed it to make this statement about what he thinks. All right, about people. A lot of people, yeah, they're rebels, but they don't really know what they're rebelling against. They just want to rebel for the sake of rebellion, if that makes sense. I think that's what he's saying here. That's the chorus. We're going to stop here to keep the videos short, and I will continue this lecture in part 3. Please make sure you watch it. And if you haven't already listened to Into the Great Wide Open on YouTube, go over there and do it. It will be the highlight of your day.